It finally fucking snowed in Alberta, so let's do Krampus. So the movie starts off with absolute fucking chaos on a Black Friday. In this department store, we see people fucking trampling each other. There's one point where security guards are fucking tasing people. In the chaos, we meet our main character, Max. We meet the mom, Sarah, the dad, Tom, and Max's sister, Beth. We also meet the grandmother, Omi. And we learn that Sarah's sister is coming with her family for Christmas, but there's a lot of family tension. So we meet Sarah's sister, Linda, her husband, Howard, who's like pretty obnoxious, their kids, Jordan and Stevie, their son, Howie, their baby daughter, Chris, their dog, Rose, and Aunt Linda, who is the best fucking character in this movie. We learn that Max is like the only person left in the family who actually believes in the spirit of Christmas. And we also see that Max has actually written a letter to Santa this year. So they all sit down to dinner, and I was just immediately fucking annoyed by Linda's side of the family. Howard takes a dig at Tom because Tom was in the Eagle Scouts in school instead of playing sports. Like, that fucking matters. A bunch of them are all complaining about all the nice food that Sarah made for dinner. Like, dude, you try cooking all this fucking food for your whole family. No one's fucking forcing you to eat everything, so just shut up, put on a nice face, and be polite. And just to top it all off, turns out the girls had stolen Max's letter from Santa, so they pull it out and they start reading it aloud. And it's actually a little bit sad because it turns out this year Max had actually asked for some things to help his family out. So Max obviously gets really upset about this, and he ends up actually getting into a physical fight with the girl. And after Tom and Howard break it up, Max gets up and he yells that he hates Christmas, and he runs up to his room. He proceeds to rip up his letter to Santa and throw it out the window. And that's the damage. Later we see Max come downstairs and there's just like a fucking blizzard howling outside. So much that the power has been completely cut off. Beth tells her parents that she wants to go over to her boyfriend's house because he has not been answering her texts, and that's very unlike him. While this is happening, Linda answers the door for a delivery man. There's also this random big ass sack outside the door that like was not included in the delivery man's delivery. But Howard and Linda bring it inside anyway. Meanwhile, Beth is like fighting her way through the blizzard to get to her boyfriend's house when she looks up onto a roof and she sees this massive fucking horned creature on a roof. So she screams naturally and she starts fucking running. She finds the delivery truck, but inside she sees the delivery man fucking dead, like frozen dead. So she gets under the van to hide. And that big ass creature purposely drops a music box next to the van so she can see it. Something comes out of the music box, but we don't see it. We just see the van shaking, so we can only assume that Beth dies here. This movie is rated PG-13, you guys, so we don't really fucking see any deaths. At this point, Tom and Sarah are getting worried about Beth, so Tom goes to Howard and tells him, hey, we have to go outside and fucking find her. They go to Beth's boyfriend's house, but she's obviously not there, and everything in the house is like fucking flash frozen. And when they're outside again, something underneath the snow fucking grabs Howard, bites him, and starts to drag him under the snow. However, Tom shoots this thing with one of the guns they brought with them, and he pulls Howard out, and they run home. When the guys get back, we see that Omi is looking really, really nervous, and she's like parked herself by the lit fireplace. And Tom explains that they have to board the whole house up, look for Beth in the morning, because they cannot fucking go outside. That night, Howard and Tom decide to sleep in shifts, and Howard takes the first shift, but of course he fucking falls asleep. And in the middle of the night, while everyone's asleep, we see this chain with a gingerbread man in it come down the fireplace. And the jingling of this wakes up Howie. And Howie, being a fucking idiot, goes to the gingerbread man and takes a bite out of it. I know he's a kid, but Howie is so fucking stupid, and like he's old enough, he should know not to do this by now. And the gingerbread comes alive and proceeds to drag Howie up the fucking chimney. The commotion wakes up the rest of the family, and Sarah grabs Howie and tries to try to pull him back. The rest of the adults all grab Sarah and try to pull her out the chimney too, so they're kind of doing a tug-of-war thing with Howie now. While all of this is going on, a log from the fireplace falls out, sets the tree on fire, and Max has to go get the fire extinguisher to put that out. Eventually, though, whatever's pulling this train is way too strong and it yanks Howie all the way up the chimney, and we're left to assume that he dies. No one knows what the fuck is going on, but that's when Omi jumps in and starts to tell the story about what happened when she was a little girl. Omi explains that when she was little, no one in her village believed in the spirit of Christmas at all except for her. But eventually, she finally stopped believing in it too. To the point where she even wished that her family would go away. And she explains that that night she actually got her wish because that night, an evil version of Santa Claus named Krampus came and dragged her family away into the underworld. Soon after, Tom decides that they should all pile in a snowplow so they can all get out of here and go to an emergency shelter. Meanwhile, Jordan and Stevie are upstairs when they think that they hear Beth's voice coming from the attic. So of course they go to fucking investigate because why not? We also found out a little bit earlier that the attic is where they put that big red sack that had been on the doorstep. Then suddenly downstairs, everyone hears the girls screaming. So Sarah grabs an axe and her, Tom, and Linda run up to the attic, where they see this big-ass clown monster who has just finished eating Jordan. Chaos ensues fucking immediately, and this clown goes over to one of the vents to try and get through there. And we see this creepy-ass demonic angel thing come down and start to attack Sarah. This bear jumps out and starts attacking Linda. Meanwhile, this robot is attacking Tom. Howard didn't go up into the attic with them because remember his leg is all fucked up, but he is suddenly shot by a nail gun. And when he turns around, it's these fucking little demonic gingerbread men. Meanwhile, back in the attic, Linda looks over and sees Stevie lying unconscious, and she gets a burst of that fucking crazy mama strength, and she gets up and stabs the teddy bear in the fucking eye. She grabs an axe and chops the rope where the angel had been trying to strangle Sarah, and she's also able to fucking kill the robot that's been attacking Tom. Back in the kitchen, Howard grabs a gun and starts shooting these gingerbread men, but in the process, he shoots a part of the stove or whatever that sets them on fire. He keeps shooting, but then he runs out of bullets right before he hits the last gingerbread man. However, right before the last one is able to kill Howard, Rosie shows up and fucking eats that bitch. However, while all the adults have been busy trying to fight the demonic toys, the clown has managed to get into the vent. Everyone's gathered back downstairs at this point, where Max has the idea to actually open the vent and let Rosie go fight the thing. We hear her struggle, but then Rosie stops barking, so sadly we can only assume that she dies. Sorry guys. Now at this point, the Jack-in-the-Box has actually been able to get out of the vent. And all the other monsters show up again. Now Aunt Dorothy is like, fuck this, and she grabs a fucking shotgun and starts shooting all these fucking monsters. Perfect shot every time. But then these fucking elves burst in through the window. And they take it upon themselves to kidnap Aunt Dorothy, Howard, and even poor baby Chrissy. That took fucking balls, you bitches. But then, however, all the elves leave of their own accord. And Omi says that he's coming. They now know that they have to make a fucking break for it, so Tom gets them all ready to go outside to the snowplow. However, as they're leaving the house, Omi stays back to sacrifice herself. Tom and Max are banging at the door, but eventually they are forced to give up and leave. And now we meet Krampus, who comes down the chimney and goes face to face with Omi. We cut back outside and we are only left to assume that Krampus fucking killed Omi because once again, it's PG-13. Everyone else is trudging their way through the very, very deep snow when they are once again attacked by whatever that thing is that grabbed Howard earlier. And Tom willingly stays back to try and fight this thing. By the way, we can't see whatever the hell this is. It's just like a moving lump in the snow. Sarah begs him not to go, but he eventually forces her to go with everyone else. The rest of them get to the snowplow, and Max and Stevie are able to get inside. But before they can get in, that thing under the snow grabs Linda and drags her under. And then Sarah gets dragged under as well. Stevie is begging Max to start the fucking snowplow, but he's trying and he doesn't know how to do it. And then the fucking elves come back, and they grab Stevie and drag her away somewhere. But Max ain't going down without a fight, because he gets out of the snowplow and starts to run after them. While Max is making his way through the snow, he actually runs into Krampus. And all Krampus does is give him this creepy-ass bell. We'd also seen that earlier Omi had one of these. However, though, after Krampus leaves, Max keeps fucking going because he has had enough. And soon enough, he runs into Krampus again with all of his minions. And they're all holding Stevie over this, big glowing pit. And Max screams at Krampus to give him back his family and take him instead. But they don't give a flying fuck, and they throw Stevie into that fucking hole, which I can only assume leads to the underworld, because Omi had said that earlier. Then Krampus grabs Max and throws him in there too. There's this bright flash of light, and Max wakes up in his bed screaming. Max goes downstairs, it's Christmas morning, and he finds that, psych, his whole family is alive and well, and there's no tension there whatsoever. Beth says that they're all waiting for him to open presents because he slept in forever. And Max sits down and opens a present, and sure enough, it's that fucking bell. We then zoom out and we see that their house is actually in a fucking snow globe, which Krampus proceeds to take and he puts it on a shelf in his workshop. We zoom out slowly and we see hundreds of snow globes sitting in his workshop just like this. Then Krampus's minions jump in front of the screen and the movie ends. Tell me what movie I should do next.